You know the feeling. You've played a flawless opening, your pieces are perfectly coordinated, and you are in total control. Then, in a split second of blindness, you throw it all away. Take a player named Bob. In a recent Blitz game, Bob built a textbook, completely dominant setup. But instead of converting that pressure into a win, he spent exactly 8 seconds thinking before accidentally sacrificing his most powerful piece, his queen, for absolutely nothing. This diagram represents a chess evaluation bar, a computer's mathematical assessment of who is winning. When you blunder a queen, that math plunges instantly into the negative. The computer declares the game irredeemably lost. The natural human reaction is to panic, rage, or simply hit the resign button. But that mathematical doom assumes you are playing against a flawless, calculating machine. You aren't. You are sitting across from a flawed, emotional human being. When players fall behind, their first instinct is usually to trade off pieces. They try to simplify the board, hoping to build a fortress and somehow survive the attack. But the data from hundreds of online games reveals a deeply uncomfortable strategy. When your position is hopeless, you should take your king, the single piece you are taught from day one to protect at all costs, and march it directly into enemy territory. This tactic relies on pattern disruption. By intentionally making what is objectively the worst strategic move on the board, you break the mental scripts your opponent relies on. You abandon the logical battleground entirely. By embracing a mathematically terrible position, you shift the match from a game of strategy into a psychological ambush. Down a queen and facing certain defeat, Bob stops defending. He steps his king out into the wide open, landing on the g6 square. Chess players spend thousands of hours studying patterns. They train specifically to corner a king, trap it against an edge, and deliver checkmate using familiar geometric setups. This diagram illustrates the problem. A king wandering into the center introduces millions of unfamiliar angles, voiding practiced mental scripts. The opponent faces severe cognitive overload, forced to calculate impossible geometry while time drains away. Caught in this mental gridlock, a player with a massive material advantage will begin to malfunction, missing obvious game-ending strikes. In Bob's game, his opponent had a full 50 seconds on the clock and multiple ways to win in a single move. Instead, paralyzed by the strange angles of the fleeing king, the opponent fumbled the board and accidentally checkmated himself. The king run weaponizes the opponent's own processing power and time pressure against them. This cognitive failure happens even at higher skill brackets, like the 1600 and 1700 ELO levels. ELO is the standard rating system used to calculate a player's relative skill in chess. Even when these experienced players hold an insurmountable mathematical advantage, they fall victim to the exact same trap. We can call this secondary effect the distraction trap. A rogue king wandering through the center of the board acts as an irresistible cognitive magnet. This radar visualization shows how attention narrows. The winning player develops tunnel vision, obsessively hunting the exposed king. Hyper-fixated on a glamorous checkmate, they ignore the perimeter, allowing a basic pawn to march uncontested and steal the victory. A massive point advantage is useless if your opponent successfully hijacks your visual attention. The absolute extreme of this tactic occurs when the defending king goes for a completely unhinged sprint, plunging into the deepest ranks of enemy territory. The winning opponent naturally tries to box the king in. But by surrounding the invader with their own pieces and pawns, they unknowingly walk into a mathematically trapped board state. This schematic highlights the gridlock. The strange geometry created by the invading king paralyzes the opponent's pieces, leaving exactly one legal move. That forced move requires the opponent to advance a pawn that directly checkmates their own king, sealing their defeat. By breaking the core rules of engagement, the king run forces the enemy into an optical illusion where they execute themselves. There is a massive gap between analyzing a game and actually playing it. Chess is not played in a sterile vacuum of perfect logic. Mathematical evaluation systems can only measure the objective reality of wood on a board. They have absolutely no way to calculate human panic, confusion, or the cognitive friction of a disrupted pattern. The next time mathematical defeat is certain and all hope seems lost, do not surrender to the cold, hard math. Embrace the chaos, run your king, and let human error.
Hope you like our video. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe us. To join our insightful chess Anurag classes, WhatsApp or call us at given number.